Okay, our next project would be to upgrade or replace the computer's hard drive. However, before we do that, we want to make sure we have a backup. We also want to make sure we have a copy, at least on a Toshiba computer anyway, you want to make sure you have a copy of the operating system. To do that, Toshiba provides an easy, quick way. You need a USB thumb drive with at least 14 gigabyte of memory on this computer. It may be different on different computers. This one's a 16 gigabyte thumb drive, so it's more than enough to do it. So what you would do is you would scroll down Support and Recovery. Then we want to select Recovery Media Creator. It gives you the option to choose two different types of DVDs or USB flash drive. Now if you notice, it's saying here excess of 13 gigabyte, 13.1. So at least a 14 gigabyte space available. So I'm going to choose USB flash and then hit create. Okay, so it's going to format the drive. That's fine. So apparently you can't use 14 gigabytes just left on another drive because it will erase whatever's on there. But I'm just going to let it format because there's nothing on that one anyway. This is it, right? Okay, I think that's just the vault or whatever it is that comes with it. But that's it. So select OK. And then just let it do its thing. It says recording. If this takes a long time, I may shorten the sequence. I made one when I first got the laptop a few years ago. That was like one of the first things that I done, but I don't remember how long it took to do it, actually. And then an hour or so later, it should be ready. Okay, so it named it HDD recovery. I guess hard disk drive recovery. And this is what it put in there. so it's bootable. And that's one way to do it. So what we can do, we can load this drive in, then use this to put the operating system back the way it was from the factory. The problem with doing it that way, though, is all your files are missing, because this only backed up the system files. What we do need, though, is a backup. Apparently, I'm not really that big on making one. So this may not give you the option to back it up on a hard drive. So what I do instead, actually, I have several of them. What I do is I back them up on an external hard drive. That way I don't have to fool with all these disks and all that stuff. And of course, you can go and make the backup. But like this says, you can't choose individual items to restore. So I don't personally like this way of doing it. What I do essentially is and you can see here that my hard drive is pretty much full, basically. So what I typically do is I'll back up the stuff in the user directory under my name. And I'll just like back all this up. Which technically it would go this direction. That would be a lot of DVDs. I don't even think there's 176 gigabytes available on this drive. Wrong button. Yeah, actually they are. So what you would do if you wanted to, I'm probably not going to do that, but because most of this is already backed up anyway. Although I could do it just to show, unless it's going to take hours and hours for that to actually transfer over. You can also pick out like individual things to back up. Tell you what, let me check something real quick and see. Okay, these are different. So what I will do is see how long it'll take. About 40 minutes. One thing you have to be careful, I don't know if I want to actually do this for the whole 40 minutes, because on these little enclosures you can overheat the drive. I don't know if there's a way to like slow it down or something where it doesn't overheat. But you should make a backup every now and then anyway. You should keep your information backed up. I will say now probably it'd be as good a time as any to mention. When you go to replace a hard drive, this is a brand new Seagate Barracuda Pro hard drive. It hasn't been opened. I just got it a little while ago, a few days ago. It's a 1 terabyte. It has the faster spindle speed, the 7200 or 70 something hundred. Instead of the 50 something hundred. Now, it being a brand new drive, a lot of people don't know this. Some people aren't aware that a brand new hard drive is more likely to fail during the first 3 to 6 months. So if it makes it past 6 months, then there's no guarantees, but more than likely the drive is defect free and will last for 800,000 mean hours between failures or whatever. But I've had, I think, 2 hard drives fail within the first 6 months. And I was told that usually, not always, but usually if they fail, it's pretty early on when you start using them. So make sure that when you do switch to a brand new hard drive, make sure that everything is backed up for at least the first 6 months. Don't trust it for anything. You also want to make sure you don't overheat the drive either. I guess it goes without saying that Seagate is not a sponsor of these videos and that I have not been compensated in any way. I just have had great success with their drives, and they're the only drives that I buy now. I'm hoping that the Barracuda Pro with the faster spindle speed will provide a little better performance on the computer. But I guess we'll figure that out later. I have a folder in my directory that is software that I paid for. You want to make sure that any software that you've paid for and downloaded that you have full backups of. Okay, now that jumped to about 2 hours. I don't want to wait 2 hours. What is not included in the backup would be you'd still have to, if you used this backup, you would still have to reinstall your software. All this is your files being backed up. Anyway, that's how you would make a backup.